Hello, this is Massless115525 doing another video. Excuse the quality because it's crap and I'm using my phone. but I'm here to do a Naruto chapter 699 to 700 video. So chapter 699 and 700. And I did a video earlier. I already did a chapter review earlier. And I realized that that was not up to par because I wasn't paying much attention to, especially the last chapter, which I felt was really, really good. But before we get into that, uh, despite its inconsistencies, despite its plot holes, especially after the pain arc during the second half of Naruto, Naruto is still Naruto. It's still a very loved series on my personal end. I normally don't even do reviews. I haven't done videos in general, but it's not really my area of expertise. Chapter reviews, but I am a regular reader. I've been reading it since 2005, 2006, and it has definitely opened up my world in terms of creativity because, some of the drawing I did, I could even say it was Naruto has inspired me, and you can even say a whole bunch of other artists. And you can even say Naruto has, got me into more manga and anime. So this is probably one of the more popular mangas in America. Since Dragon Ball Z, even though it's not like it hasn't hit the grand scale that Dragon Ball Z has hit, but that's the closest that could even, in my opinion, that could even compare in terms of popularity. But yeah. It's going to be really weird. It's going to be really, like I said, it's had its problems. It's had an arc that, in my opinion, the Great Ninja War, that hasn't lived up to expectations, but in general, this series will be sorely missed, and like I said, it's going to be really weird to look at Manga Stream or Manga In or whatever and just be like, wow, there's no Naruto chapter. It's over. It's really gone. So, let me just start with the review. So, the chapter, it starts out with, Naruto and Sasuke with their arms blown off, because they just had this one epic clash. And Sakura comes running and she's like, Sasuke, come, whatever. And she heals Naruto and Sasuke so that they don't bleed to death. And Kakashi's having this flashback. He's kind of like, oh, okay, the team's finally back, and sorry, I'm getting a text. Yeah, they're finally back, and then pretty much Naruto and Sasuke, they break the infinite Tsukiyomi with the hand that they have left. Kind of ironic, I guess, because they need each other's hand to kind of to break the infinite Tsukiyomi. So it's kind of like, wow, okay. And they go on more, and then just chapter pretty straightforward as everyone wakes up. And, you realize that Kakashi was named the sixth Hokage towards the end of the chapter. But most of this chapter is mostly about Sasuke finally realizing Naruto as a person, as a comrade, as his equal, Finally realizing Naruto as an equal, saying, oh, you still stuck by me, you still looked for me, you still looked at me as a brother, although I did all these terrible things, I tried to go on my own way, and, the darkness, and, all that, and yeah, this was finally, conclusion to Naruto and Sasuke's feud that's been going on since the last part of Naruto Part 1. And the chapter ends with Naruto giving Sasuke's headband back, which kind of basically finalizes that they're equals, because remember the first part, Sasuke was like, I wouldn't even need my headband. I wouldn't even need my headband to fight you or whatever. And to me, that was just Sasuke realizing Naruto has his equal as a comrade. They're no longer like striving towards different paths. he wants to, go off into his own journey and see the world through his own eyes, through his own clear vision. So I mean, I mean that chapter was okay. It was fine. I mean, it was a conclusion, but the next, I mean, funny story about that. I thought the chapter actually ended. It concluded. It had the headband because the manga stream didn't have the other chapter yet. And I'm like, what? That's how the series ends? Like, that's really gay. Like, really? Like, come on. But then I had to go to Manga Inn to read chapter 700 because it wasn't there yet. And this chapter 700 was a satisfying conclusion for all Naruto fans. I mean, for me personally, it was a very satisfying conclusion because it showed you what happened to all the supporting characters. Like, in the chapter, you find out that Aburami Shino becomes a sensei. And I didn't even realize that because in my first video, I was like, who is that guy? But then, like, I had to look closer. I'm like, oh shit, that's Shino. And he's a teacher now. And he's teaching Naruto's kid who's Bolt. And there's what I love about this chapter. There are so many things, like so many context clues to who ended up with who. Like, for example, Naruto and Hinata, I think, had twins because they show Hinata with her child, and at first I was like, what? But then it's not really implied that Naruto and Hinata ended up together, but when you see the stripes on her cheeks, I'm like, oh snap. That's Naruto got with Hinata. He hit that. He got with Hinata, and she's like, and they're looking over Neji's grave, and he's like, does uncle like sunflowers? And Hinata's like, yeah, and she's like, I wish my brother was with me, which is Bolt. Rock Lee has a kid. I don't know with who. It's not really implied. I was thinking maybe it might have been to Tenten, but I mean they show a little panel with her selling weapons, and she's like, it's a time of peace, obviously. So I'm guessing that the last chapter happens about 10, maybe 15 years. 15 years might be a stretch, but I'm thinking maybe 10 at the least, and 15 the most. Since that period has since the Great Ninja War appeared. And Kakashi steps down as being Hokage. Guy's in a wheelchair. I mean, so his ninja days probably been done since then. I'm trying to think about Choji. You see Choji's in the very, like, I think the second page of that chapter, you see Choji got with that black chick that I think that punched Naruto in the very beginning when they introduced the Thunder Nation or whatever. He got with her, I believe. I was like, wow, their chick is like freaking, their child's like a BBW, and you even see, and in that second panel, the second page, you also see Ino, and Ino got with Sai because they have a child that has like Sai's pale skin, but Ino's hair. And I'm like, oh, snap. Yo, damn. Like, there's a lot of things to catch in this chapter, man. It was such a satisfying, like, to me, it was very satisfying. It's very satisfying, especially for, like, fans like me that have been following it since 05, 06, just been following the series. What else happened? Konohamaru ends up actually being a Jonin. And he's training, but he's, like, both sensei. And I'm like, Naruto's kid sensei. Erika's old as hell, washed up. All the Kages obviously aren't in power anymore. Rakage's bald. And so you see Tsunade, Mizukage, Onoki all together having some tea, just being like, wow, basically saying, yo, we're old. Mizukage still doesn't have a man. I mean, this chapter was awesome, man. What else is there to point out? Also, like, I had to actually read this chapter twice to catch the things that I'm catching now. It was amazing. If you pay attention to it in detail, it's such a rewarding chapter. I'm not gonna go too long, but I'm trying to catch whatever else I found in this chapter. Also, you realize you see the current Kages. Gaara is still the Kage, but Dari ends up being Raikage. Onoki's granddaughter ends up being the I forgot I forgot what the Mizukage, not Mizukage, the Kage for the Stone Village, I believe. And who else? Oh, and one of the seven swordsmen, the Mizukage's basically assistant, ends up being Kage. I thought that was cool. So I was like, it's basically an introduction to the new generation. As you see Naruto, becoming Kage, he's just like, pointing that thing on like, yo, I'm here. It's my time. I'm Kage. And the chapter ends off, oh no, and one more thing. Akamaru's old as hell. Kiba, obviously he's grown, and Shikamaru and Tamari have a kid together. They end up together, predictably. So it was cool. It was cool to see like all the characters, how like they were doing after the Great Ninja War. And it was very like I've mentioned this so many times. It's such a satisfying ending to such a long series to see that these supporting characters actually got like they had the limelight, because they didn't really have the limelight in Naruto Part 2 since it was mostly for Sasuke and Naruto. But to see all that, it was just really like I was like, wow, this series, we've come a long way, man. Like, it's really over. Like, it's such a great ending. It was a very satisfying ending. I'm glad that Kishimoto made 2 chapters just for basically the end of the Great War and the Great Ninja War, and then like what happened after. I thought that was done really well, because there's a lot of manga, for example, Claymore, that hit Hitman Reborn, that ended at very, very had very disappointing endings. And then like another thing, I thought that was cool. Like, cause my friend, I haven't read One Piece yet, but he said that for one of the covers for the One Piece chapters, it kind of commemorated like Naruto's end. Like Luffy was eating like ramen, and then like someone was eating meat or whatever, and there was someone in the shadows, and like I guess it was kind of implying Naruto's end or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like it's cool that Ichiro Oda like took the time to say like, this is the end. Let me just kind of give Naruto the limelight. And at the same time, at the very end of that chapter, on one of the statues that Bolt, when he was doing mischief throughout the chapter, it had like a straw hat, the straw hat symbol on one of the heads. I thought that was cool as hell. I was like, wow, that is awesome. Like I said, I've had lots of critiques. I've critiqued Naruto a lot, mostly because I expect greatness out of a series, especially one as great as Naruto, even though it hasn't maintained that consistency. But the way it ended was superb ending. So this gets an A+ for me. A-, because the last chapter was alright. It was good, but very well, nicely done. Very well done. Very, very happy about the ending, especially that Straw Hat's One Piece reference at the very end. Thought that was cool as hell. Obviously, Naruto has to end up as the Hokage. So, very, very good chapter in my opinion. What do you think? You thought it was garbage? You thought it was ass? Do you think Kishimoto needs to quit as a writer? If he was to write another manga, I wouldn't mind reading it. So, this is my video. Rate, comment, subscribe. These are my thoughts on the final chapter. Naruto's over. So, peace out. This is Master105525, and I'm out. Peace. One more note, by the way. What surprised me the most was Sasuke and freaking Sakura had a freaking kid. A kid, bro. I was like, what? Yo. I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. I guess it was kind of implied during 699, but wow, that surprised the hell out of me. Like, the fact that, that Sasuke and Sakura actually got it in or whatever. And they were showing Sasuke, going in the wilderness, being like, doing his things. He's like, I think, because she apparently has a crush on Bo, and she's like, I think we have more in common than, we think. And then you say, show Sasuke in the woods or whatever. But, I'm very, because the next movie's coming out, and I'm very curious to how the kids' abilities are going to, I want to see the kids' abilities, how they fight. So, I mean, that would be very curious to see. So, right now, I'm really off. Master Swollen 5525. Rate, comment, subscribe, and you have a great day.